Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of your Footy Fantasy Podcast. Today we have a lot to talk about in a little time. We'll be doing a shorter than usual episode because there were not that many Premier League games, and actually, there were none. There were no Premier League games, there were no league games to talk about in Europe, but of course, there were international games. Well, we hardly talk too much about international games here, so today we'll talk a little bit about some interesting events that happened over the week. Today we're going to do something different, something not unusual, but we hardly do it here, which is we're going to talk about the relegation. This is probably one of the most interesting, I wouldn't say the most, but it is one of the most interesting relegation battles. One, I'd say because of Newcastle being in that context, but also because some of the teams that are in that bubble, Everton, Burnley. You have interesting characters there. Van has never been relegated since he came up to the Premier League. He's been able to hold on for a long time now. Lampard, Saudi money. So today we'll talk about who is going to get relegated in the EPL. I'll start, but Ola, who's with me today, just me and him, will chime in, of course, and tell us what he feels. I personally want to do something quick, which is knock out two teams fast. So we talk about the third one. There's nothing to talk about with Norwich. I believe, and I think most people believe that Norwich is getting relegated. It's, we're not, it's a waste of time talking about Norwich. I thought Watford was going to be relegated. I still think they'll be relegated, but you found some form recently, so I don't know. But I still have them as my number two. Ola, do you disagree?
Um, well, Norwich, they came they came back into reckoning for a bit because they had a couple of back-to-back wins, decent results. They flat out to deceive for like two or 3 weeks,
That's
and
right.
then just factory reset. They went back to factory reset, and they've been chopping L's since that time. So they're definitely, you're right, they're going down. I don't see how they're escaping this one.
So,
Watford. Watford, yeah, they hired Roy Hodgson. You would think, okay, maybe they'll be defensively solid and they'll keep conceding more goals, but they've had some bad defeats since he came in. I think they picked up a couple of points. I think they had one win in that time, but their form has not been great at all. So
not at
I
all.
think I agree with you. I think I agree with you. Watford and Norwich have probably gone. I think they brought in Hodgson too late. Hodgson is an organized man. Of course, he will organize the defense, make them difficult to beat. But the time they brought him in, I'm not sure that time is sufficient for him to keep them up.
Maybe
So I
it's too
think those
late.
two are going. Yeah, the third spot is the interesting one. Who's the third team going down with them? That's going to be the fun bit.
You have you have Newcastle, Brentford, Leeds, Everton, Burnley.
Everton. Yeah. No, what you were saying about Sean Dyke is true. He has a track record of keeping them up, and they've been in this situation. And I
That's
think
right.
because they have some games in hand, so
Two.
um, 2 games in hand. Yeah. Now the issue is they're not scoring. They're still struggling for goals. They're not scoring enough goals, um, and that would be a problem because that's what Newcastle did. Newcastle managed to get solid defensively and then started scoring goals, winning 2-1, 3-1. And they managed to put themselves out of the reckoning for now. Burnley at the moment, they bought that new striker, Weghorst. Yeah, I think if his first couple of games he looked very threatening, but
That's
I
right.
think he scored only one goal. He scored only one goal since he came into the league, and that's the problem for them.
They
Their
haven't
next
been
game
able
is a game.
to replace Woods.
Yeah. Woods was not doing too great before he left, to be honest. And Woods,
That's,
since he went to Newcastle, Woods has scored only one goal also.
that's right.
So, so the problem, I think, their problem is other players are not chipping in with goals. They should not just be thinking, "Oh, where Gus is going to score." They had Kone, the Ivorian lad who was there. He was doing really well before he went for the Afcon, but since he came back, he has been
Hasn't
picking up injuries. He has not played consistently. So I think that's the biggest problem for them, because if he was fit, I think they'll have enough goals to stay up Burnley. Um, their next match is against Man City. And as a Liverpool fan, of course, we are praying for them to just discover their form against Man City, and just, even if it's a draw, let us help us just draw against Man City, please, on Sunday. No, on Saturday. Help us draw against Man City. So that's what I'm looking forward to for Burnley. Um, as a Liverpool fan, Everton, I would like relegation to touch them this season, to humble them a bit, because I think those guys, they need the factory resets. They've been coasting along on the name of being Everton for a long time, and I think this season, if they went down, maybe they'll be able to. Their club is a shambles, to be honest. It's not just I'm
Yeah,
not just beefing them. They
that's right.
spent over 500 million pounds in the last few years, and look at where they are. Their squad construction is shambles. They sack managers willy nilly. They're just,
They
and they
have no
also have
plans.
no plans, no
Yeah,
plans. Look, they sack this guy, they put Lampard in, and Lampard is just already dissing them, saying their mentality is poor. If they escape, it's because there are just some other teams that are worse than them. It's not because Everton are good. That's why they will escape. It's just if the other teams can, like Burnley, um if Burnley and Newcastle don't pick up enough wins, that's the
uh,
only
uh,
way Everton will stay up.
I think the other team that might save them is Leeds.
Yeah.
Leeds are funny. They've shown some resilience since Marsh came in there, but they've not
Mm-hmm.
won too many points. They
And they
got
won back to back.
they won back to
That's the
back.
thing. Yeah,
But
their last two games, they won
that's
back
true.
to back
They won
game.
their last two games. Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
They
by the skin of their teeth, though.
they
It was
won
not like
one. Yeah,
it wasn't
one was a one goal in
last minute
the last minute, and then one was the game they went
from
ahead and the yo-yo
no,
game.
no, they were 2-0 down. They were 2-0 down. Then there was a red card.
That's
They were
right.
2-0
That's right.
down. There was a red card. They now won 3-2. So that's what I mean, that they've not won convincingly. So the
They've
first
won.
game they
Yes,
won, it was like a scrappy last minute goal. And then the second game they won 3-2. It was a red card influence goal. Of course, it was still good that they came from 2 goals down.
it was still good. Yeah, I
But I
believe
think the
that was Wolves they played.
Wolves, yes, it
Yes,
was
that
Wolves.
was Wolves.
Jimenez
Yes,
got a red card. Yeah,
that's right.
yeah. The word you use is what I will associate with them now. Resilience. They showed resilience in those 2 games, but let's see how far that resilience will carry them forward.
That's what. But that's the thing they really did lack, though. It was the one thing you
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say about Leeds was resilience. They had,
True.
they were the kind of team 2-0 down. Yeah, they'll keep going. That's right. But they kept going and kept getting beat this season. Before they would,
5-0,
yeah,
4-0,
you
six
were
zero.
sure of that spirit, but they didn't have that luck. So now that it's breaking for them, it's very big. The poor thing for them is that they have to play Arsenal, they have to play City.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they have to play Arsenal, they have to play City, they have to play Chelsea.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And they play a lot of games with people around them. They play Brighton, Watford,
Oh,
Crystal Palace, so Brentford. They have some tough games,
mm,
because especially Brentford, Watford games, they have to win that. If they don't win that, so Leeds
yeah.
are in a position where they might help Burnley, or they might help somebody else escape. If they don't help themselves, they might end up being dragged in there. I feel Everton Everton's fixtures are just too much. Too, you know, what's his name? I was watching the podcast last week, but I missed the guy's name. The guy that came on and said he said something about Everton hiring Lampard that it did not make sense. That what Everton needed was a hitting. They already actually had the manager they needed, which was Benitez. Benitez might have not been doing very well, but it was better to
Mm,
leave Benitez than to hire Lampard.
Yeah.
Lampard wasn't the guy to do this kind of job. He's a guy you give
Yeah.
a project, you give him money or something, and give him time. There's no time in Everton
No. No
unless he wants
time.
to sit down with them, bring them up from the championship again. If they escape, yeah, next season, he'll have a chance. But if they, they have a very tough, they have a very tough running. So I think, to be honest, I think it's between Everton and Leeds. I think Newcastle will escape. Um,
Yeah.
I think they have enough spirit. Newcastle, there's something different. People doubted hiring Eddie Howe, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
he's done a good job there. I have to give him that. I think they will escape. And next season will be very, very interesting in that club. I'll be, I'll be looking forward to it. I really will be looking forward to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, we haven't been getting any comments. I'm looking forward to comments coming in. So I wanted to move on quickly and talk about the big secret, which everybody knows, that Manchester United are going to hire Poch or Ten Hag. As a matter of fact, I think nobody's taking bets on either of those states. It's almost sure it's one of them. But it's a very divisive topic. For some reason, Pochettino draws a lot of bile. He draws a lot of vitriol. People do not like him. There's something about him people dislike. I don't know. I can't put my hand on it. And Ten Hag seems to be you know, the latest flavor on the block. People want to taste him right now. They want to put him in the soup. So, so it's a big choice for Arnold. If he was listening to fans, it'll be one of those two. So, Ola, if it was you making that choice or with that recommendation to him, who would you be picking?
I'll just say bring back the chosen one. Bring back David Moyes, man. You people should bring back David Moyes. I'm a bit serious because that man is proving himself. Look at what he's doing at West Ham. You guys didn't give him a chance. Like you kicked him out within 7 months or how many months into his reign. You kicked him out. Bring back David Moyes, chosen one. I saw one stat that since Moyes was in charge, you guys have not won the Champions League knockout game. The last time they won the Champions League knockout game at Old Trafford was under David Moyes.
That's right.
So
That was
that
his first
man,
choice.
yeah, bring it back. But in answer to the question, anyway, Pochettino or Ten Hag. Now the thing with Pochettino is, I understand what you're saying that he's very divisive, and why it will be that way is some people have that connotation of fraud attached to him, and then some people are like, well, it's because he has not been given a proper chance with proper money. He was at Spurs. He was building over a long period, but he was still armstrong by money. Okay, he went to PSG. There's money, but then there are big stars there, and there's political things in PSG where he cannot drop some certain players. So maybe that's also causing the problem for him in PSG. But in my opinion, I think he's a very good coach. I think he's a very good coach, and I think the fact that he has gone to PSG, maybe the fact that he has had to handle big personalities in PSG will help him handle big personalities if he came to Manchester United. But to be honest, his record at PSG is not the most encouraging at the moment. They will probably win the league, but I think the last time I came on the pod, I was saying to Ayo and other guests that his record in PSG this season, his away record has been really bad. Um, Out of the top 8 teams in French league, PSG have gone away to out of those 8, they've won only once. They've either lost majority of their away games or drew. Just before the international break, they lost 3-0 to Monaco. So they're most likely going to win the league, but they're out of the Champions League. I think they're out of the French Cup. So this season, I think they're winning only the league. So that looks a bit bad on Pochettino. Ten Hag, in my opinion, Ten Hag is like you say, it's flavor of the month because I know what he's doing at Ajax is a fantastic job. They don't have a lot of money, but they also got knocked out in the second round. They
That's
got
right.
knocked out to Benfica.
That's
So
right.
it's not like
They
It's not
got
like
knocked
they
out to the
came.
weakest team.
Yeah, they got knocked out to the weakest team. So
That's right.
we there's also asterisks attached to him. I'll lean more towards Pochettino because Pochettino has been in the Premier League before. He was in Premier League for 5 6 years or how many years he was. He knows the terrain, and I think, like I was saying, I think the fact that he has now worked with bigger stars at PSG might make him maybe more suited to the United, because Man United role is not like it's not, that job is tough. We all know
That's
that
right.
job is tough. It's not just a job. It's not a Tottenham Hotspur job. It's not a Southampton job. This is Man United you're talking about. There's
That's right.
all kinds of pressure. So Ten Hag, I don't know. Ten Hag for me seems a bit reserved. I don't know if does he have the personality. So I personality to put a stamp on a club like Man United. I'm not sure. I'll lean too much. If I was a neutral, if I was not a United fan, I mean, if I was a United fan, I'll lean more towards Pochettino. I'll lean more towards Pochettino than Ten Hag.
For me, I think that the two choices are similar. I agree with everything you said, but I think the two choices are similar in one sense. They haven't won anything. So those question marks are there, the commas are there.
They've won their leagues, so they won leagues in the country now.
No,
The
no,
Ajax thought they
what you know
win
what I
leagues.
mean? They haven't
I know,
won.
I know what you mean. I know what
Yeah,
you mean. I know
they
what
haven't
you mean.
won
I know what you mean.
anything. You know, somebody will make noise about. The
Mm,
Ajax
I
manager
understand.
should win uh,
The Dutch league.
Dutch league. It's
That's
default.
normal.
French, as a matter of fact, Pochettino should have two now. Should be winning the second, not winning one. So those question marks hang in there. But there's another thing about Pochettino, which is to get Pochettino, you have to spend big.
Oh
You
yeah.
have to pay off his contract or whatever. You have to, buy him out from PSG.
I just
That's
pray that PSG will sack him because they
yeah,
most likely will sack him, and you can get him on a free.
that's right. That's one. And then two, he's a win now. And by the way, yeah, PSG will sack him. They will sack him. They will sack him. They'll actually be happy if Manchester United are approved, so they will just to help them out. But they will sack him. You know that you can't say you're building a project with Pochettino. He's not at that stage. It's almost like the same thing with Pep or Klopp now. If Klopp were to leave Liverpool or Pep leaves Man City and goes to another club, yeah, they have a project, but it's not going to be about we're going to win in 3 4 years. You're going at this stage. You're bringing them. Oh, we want to spend money. We want to win. You know, this year or next year. Simple. So Pochettino is at that stage too. Even though he hasn't won before, he's not going to. For example, Pochettino is not going to Atletico Madrid unless he decides to. But he's at a stage where he should be thinking of going to Juventus, Manchester United. Maybe for example, if Arsenal job was available and they had money, that kind of thing. That's what he should do. So he's not going to Manchester United to say, "Okay, I want to sit down here and build a club for 5 years." But unfortunately, I think Manchester United are at a stage where they should be building for 5 years, not building for 2 years, because it's too expensive. Two, they are not. They've done this before. They're not good at doing this. So it's better to do the slow thing and you know basically copy your enemies. Look at what City and Liverpool are doing and kind of copy it. Maybe mold it into your own style, but do what you've done before. You've actually done that before. Build for years. And I think Ten Hag's at that stage, even though he's living Ajax, he's not going in walking into his. If he goes to Manchester United, nobody's expecting him to win immediately. As a matter of fact, he looks like the way he sounds is more like the guy that you want to invest in for 4 5 6 years. You want to put time in him because you see what he's done in Ajax. I'm not saying Pochettino can't do that because look at what he's done at Spurs. But the thing was, the only thing left at Spurs was winning big. It's actually almost the same thing with Ajax. But the problem they have at Ajax is that he has to do it almost every year because he keeps losing good players.
Hmm.
Whereas Pochettino had the bulk of players. The problem he had was that the players ran down. He couldn't refresh them quick enough, which maybe if he did, he would have won something. So they would have reasons why they haven't done better than they have, if you want to be honest. But I think this guy is at that stage where okay, going to because I'll be very honest. Manchester United, my reputation might be a big club, but at this stage, they're in a slump
Mm.
and they need somebody to. It's Pochettino is like Cristiano Ronaldo to me. He's like a cherry on top kind of manager now. And you take out Klopp, take out Pep, who's left? He's in that stage. It's the same thing with Nagelsmann. He's not coming to stay 5 years at Manchester United, and what is it? You know, that's why he went to Bayern to win that trophy. Then he has that. You know what I mean? The next stage is something else, and you can see they're already talking about him moving. Weird, but managers start becoming like players. Very, very weird.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Bayern fan that we have, Dio, does it? He's not a big fan of this Nagelsmann. That's why you wonder with some coaches, maybe that, I still think personality types have to match because big club, like Nagelsmann that we're talking about now. For some reason, the Bayern fan that we know does not like him. He's already said that if Liverpool meet Bayern, that we're going to destroy Bayern. This Bayern Munich fan saying that Liverpool will destroy them. He said because Nagelsmann, his tactics are poor and things like this. But on the outside, we looking and we are like, oh, he's doing a good job. But the Bayern fan that is there saying no, he's not doing a great job. So it's the same thing with likes of Pochettino and maybe Ten Hag. I'm sure Pochettino, especially PSG, there'll be some people who would think he has done a decent job, but the fact is that their Champions League campaign got cut short again, and I think they went out of all their cups so early. And winning the league is not enough. Winning the league is not enough, and it will be a surprise if they don't pull the trigger if they don't sack him.
Unfortunately, I have to give him, I have to give him, even though it's a comma there, I want to put a dot on that comma, maybe make it a semicolon or something, because PSG is the same club that has done this like 4 times in the last 6 years.
Yeah,
So it's not like it's new. It's not like it's not happened to Verratti, Nima. It's not like it hasn't happened to them before.
yeah. Hmm.
This thing has happened to Messi before. So it's something that they've all seen. It's happened to Mbappe before, not once, not twice. So that's one. Then two, the other part of it is the owners, the way they run that club. Something, something about
Yeah.
it. From the outside,
They
you
run
can
it like
see it.
they run it like a glorified Everton. That's what
Yeah,
I always say. Because like they run it like a shambles too. PSG is not a properly run club. They're not a properly.
it's
They
like
just buy. See what they did this last summer. They just brought Donnarumma, Gini Wijnaldum. Before that they brought in Buffon. They brought in Messi. It's just they transfer. There's no transfer strategy. It's just shiny object. Let's get that shiny object. Oh,
yeah,
shiny object there.
yeah.
Let's get that
Let's
shiny
get it.
object. No considerate planning into building a squad. So that's why I also give Pochettino a bit of lead. That's why I was talking about the politics of PSG,
Mhm.
because the likes of Leonardo, the sporting director, he has more power compared to Pochettino. And then the PSG president too is always choking his mouth. So
Yes.
yeah, so I
And then of
that's
course
why that's mhm,
Nima, Nima, and then now Messi.
mhm,
They
and
also,
Messi.
every time there's whispers, something is going on. Oh, they're not happy. They're unhappy. You know.
And Mbappe too is leaving, is leaving
No,
at
the
the end of the
Mbappe
season.
case, Mbappe's case summed that thing up. Which club rejects 114 million pounds for a player that is about to leave for free?
Exactly.
That's not a
Exactly.
club. That's a guy. That's some gangster
And they're
mafia shit, man.
offering him almost like 1 million per week to stay. Like, come on, this guy doesn't want to stay. It's not. He doesn't even care about that money now. It's just like I don't want to be part of this anymore. I want to be gone. Oh man, yeah, no, they're not a
Uh,
well-run club. That's why I give Pochettino a bit of leeway because PSG is not a well-run club,
that's right.
and that's why I just say okay. I don't go along with people that call him a fraud, but I know there are question marks about Pochettino. There are question marks, but
Well,
that PSG job is just an awkward job. Look, they sacked Tuchel now. Thomas Tuchel was
yes.
there. They sacked him,
Well,
and
that's
look
the
at Tuchel
difference.
now.
Well, that's the difference between Tuchel and Pochettino. Is you're a loser until you win. It's the same thing about Klopp. Klopp was the nearly man in the
Mm,
Champions League until he did it. Now
yeah,
he's now revered because you have to do it.
Mm,
The same problem
mm,
Pep has where they go, you haven't done it outside Barcelona, but he's done it in Barcelona like twice. But very stupid logic. But people always find something to say. At the end of the day, I think when they all leave, when they people will say speak much better about them. And
mhm.
talking about something that people don't like to speak good about at all because a lot of people are not interested in it. I had to pick up Women's Soccer League.
Yeah, nice.
Um, Manchester United got promoted into the league, so I started following it a bit. I wouldn't say I've watched more than 5 to 7 games in the past year, but I've seen a lot of highlights, especially Manchester United highlights, and this is the most interesting season in a long time. And when I mean interesting, I mean you. I don't know which of the top 4 or 5 teams I want to talk about specifically because they all have been magnificent. They've basically almost all played some of their best seasons, apart from maybe Man City. And you could say they've given us a very good season. And I'll explain why. Spurs recently dropped off. I think it was because of quality of squad, but for a long time they were in the top three. They
Mhm.
were keeping up with Chelsea, who are one of the best teams in the world, if
Yeah.
not the best. Well, Barcelona should be the best, but Chelsea can't, match up with Barcelona. So Spurs were doing very well, and then they started playing the big boys. They started playing Man City, Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea, and lost to them. But they beat most of the rest of the league, which is very good, given their level. You wouldn't have expected Spurs to do that well, but they did. They've lost a few games in the last 2 months. Now they're fifth. They've totally fallen off the top three race. But as of January, they were in the top three. I have to commend them for that because that was very good. Manchester United and Man City, I have to put two of them together. Manchester United and Man City are third and fourth. Manchester United is ahead of Man City by 3 points, but Man City have a game in hand. Basically, they're on the
Okay.
same points, and Manchester United is also ahead on goal difference. 4 goal difference. Now, why, why I'm mentioning that it's just a 4 goal difference is that in the past few games, Man City have been loading goals. They've been
Oh wow.
loading goals. They've just been loading goals. Like they've won their last 4 games. I think they beat someone 5-0. They've been loading goals. They've scored so many games. And now, why that's it's important is because they're in such good form. You are not sure Manchester United can keep up with their form. They've actually come from behind. They've been coming. They've been chasing for a while. They've been chasing Manchester United. Manchester
Mm,
United was fourth, but because they had games in hand under Spurs, they then beat Spurs and became third. And Manchester has been chasing them. They beat Spurs. Then they had a game in hand and it was against Manchester. One of the games actually, sorry, they had a head-to-head game and they won that
mhm.
game after just losing to Manchester United in the FA Cup. They now won the game. So by winning that game, they closed that gap. And
Okay.
it will be difficult to keep up. But Manchester United are also doing very, very well compared to what was expected. They're doing very well. And why I say they're also doing very well is that they're only 5 points behind Arsenal. They're only 5 points behind Arsenal. Arsenal have
Mm,
been the top of the league most of the season because of Chelsea's European commitments and COVID. They had
mm.
some games postponed, so they had games in hand. And
Okay.
Arsenal had established the lead. They've been comfortable for a long time, but the lead never mathematically knocked out Chelsea. So, of course, Chelsea being Chelsea, they started playing those games in hand, and now they've played the same games and they're 1 point ahead. They finally caught up with
Mm.
Arsenal. It leaves the remaining 5 games because there are only 5 games left. That's the other
Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah. Same.
It leaves them
Same for
very.
the championship. Mm,
That's right. So it makes it very interesting. But I have to put my if I have to put my money, I put it on Chelsea. I don't see
Yeah,
them. Yeah, because they're too good. Now Arsenal are very good. Arsenal are very very good. Midema, their striker is
yeah,
she's a
Midema.
record. She's a record leader. There's a lot of talk about Kerr of Chelsea. Kerr is a superstar.
Sam Kerr.
Every time she's a superstar, but when it comes to the women's soccer league, you have to give it to Midema. Midema has done 100 goals and assists in the league in England. The first player to have that combo: 70 goals and 30 assists. Plus,
Mm.
because I think she's scored since she's done that. So you have to give it to Midema. Midema is the to me the Hall of Famer in the league. So it's going to be
Yeah,
very, very interesting. The top four race, because the top three race. The third, why it's very important is the top three go to the Champions League. So I'll follow the
yeah,
rest of the games. I will really, really follow them, and I'll let you
yeah.
guys know every single week what's up.
No problem.
Yeah,
For me, I'm like the opposite for you. Like because of course you like you said you started following it more when Man United got promoted. For me, it was the opposite because I used to follow it when Liverpool were there. Liverpool won back to back WSL titles,
right.
were champions for 2 seasons, and then the coach left. Matt, his name is Matt Beard. He left, and many of the top stars left, and then I think the club as a whole just stopped investing in the female team, and then we got relegated. So now they're in championship now. But what happened was they now went to get Matt Beard back. So he's now back managing the girls. They started investing in the team again because even when we were struggling before we got relegated, we had Asisat Oshola, the Nigerian player. She was at Liverpool.
Yeah,
She was balling. She was playing.
the
She was playing very
Manchester
well.
captain, the Manchester United captain actually went from Manchester Academy to play for Liverpool, and then when the team
Hmm.
got disbanded, came back to Manchester.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, because Liverpool were like one of the top
yeah,
top teams in
that's
the
great.
country. Like I said, back to back champions. But Asisat actually left. We had another Nigerian player too that Baba Shola Rinsola. She was
Ah,
also very good. She had to, well, she went on strike because she just said, "Look, I want to quit this team," and she refused to play, and they sold her. So basically, Liverpool got relegated, um, partly because the COVID did not allow the league to be completed. So they truncated the league because there were still some games to play. So they just relegated Liverpool. They were like, okay, well, the league is over. So if they had finished playing the league, maybe Liverpool might have stayed up. But now with some investment with Matt Beard back, Liverpool are actually on the way. We are topping the league today. They won 3-0
that's
against the
good.
second place team. So I think it's like a 10-point gap now, and with 5 games to go, it looks like Liverpool will get promoted back to the WSL. And there's some decent players there. There's the lady that scored today, Rachel Funes. She plays like a number 10. She scored twice today. They got one German, Getty Stegel. I think that's a pronunciation of her name, top striker. So the team is looking decent. So of course I've been following them now because I see that they're almost back in the big time.
That's
They're almost
good.
back in the
That's good.
WSL. So I've been following them this season. But in the past 2 years, I wasn't following the league because I was like, "There's no Liverpool there, so who do I want to be watching now?" you know. So, but it's like you said, the quality is quite good. I mean, there's more investment. There are more people watching the women's game now, and it's good. It's good. We need that. We
Yeah,
just
the
can't keep
players are the
focusing on
players
them.
are so much
Yeah,
better. Yeah, the players are
yeah,
so much
yeah.
better.
Mm,
No disrespect to the players of the past, but
mm,
the there's been a shift in the last 20 years. You can see the quality is really,
yeah,
really, really up there. It's good. You know.
yeah.
Fun fact: we played Manchester United played Everton at Old Trafford for the first
Hmm.
time in history earlier today, and Everton scored the first goal ever in Old Trafford. It was
Okay.
Emsley. She scored the goal, and then Manchester United won the game 3-1. But that was, it was a fair bit of attendance. People really, really came. I haven't got to
Mm,
the attendance numbers, but I heard that a lot of people came out to the game, and it was it
yeah,
was good. It was good for female football to see that. I was very impressed, and I hope
yeah,
they can do more of that. Maybe you
yeah.
get them to play other days
Hmm.
or
Yeah.
play play before the men's
Let them,
games.
let them play
Same
where
day.
the exactly.
Yeah,
Like the ladies, Liverpool ladies,
yeah,
they barely play at Anfield.
yeah,
They rarely play at Anfield. I don't. It's
yeah,
sad. I know. Okay, they know that maybe the stadium won't be full, but at least let them play once in a while at
yeah,
the big stadium, the proper
yeah. Play
stadium.
the finals or their big games there. Like
Mm-hmm.
their derbies and co. It will make sense. I think
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Now let me ask
International.
you a quick question. Did you watch any of the World Cup qualifier games during the week?
I watched Nigeria's. I think I watched Nigeria's second half.
Okay.
I watched. I couldn't get a link for the Nigeria game in the first half, so I was watching Senegal Egypt. I watched some of Senegal Egypt, and the second half I managed to get a link for the Nigerian game. So I watched the full second half for the Nigeria game. It was not great. It was not a good game, but there was a controversial incident where the Ghanaian player handled the ball, and the referee actually even went to the VAR to check to see whether it was a penalty to Nigeria, but then it went the other way. Yeah, because it looked like the Ghanaian player was fouled first before he fell, and then he now grabbed the ball. So he gave the penalty. He didn't give the penalty. He gave it the other way. But it was a scrappy game. It wasn't a good game, and I'm a bit worried because there's away goals rule in this playoff.
So yeah,
So the fact that we didn't score, if Ghana score over there and just get a 1-1 draw, they're going through.
that's right.
The
Ghana does
Senegal
not have
Egypt
to
game,
win.
they don't have to win. They don't have to win. They
Yeah.
just need a score draw and they're through. The Senegal Egypt one, I watched some of the first half. Yeah, Senegal played, they were a better team, but Egypt, the problem was Egypt managed to score an early goal, very fluky goal. Salah hit the ball, hit the crossbar, came back, deflected off the Senegalese player straight into the net. So, but after that, Egypt just did what they would do normally, what they did in the AFCON. If you watch the AFCON, what they did was just scrappy. They're defending, they didn't play very well, but they got the 1-0. And that's a big problem for Senegal because if Egypt managed to sneak a goal in the second leg, I
It's
don't think
over.
Senegal are scoring three. They're not scoring 3 goals because they would have to win 3-1. So I think Egypt will probably be favorites. But for the other ones, I just saw the highlights for the European qualifiers and I saw the highlights for the African qualifiers too. So yeah, some interesting results. But I'm sure the one we want to talk about is Italy. Big Italy out of the World Cup again, European champions.
No, well, why are we surprised? In my
They didn't
in my
qualify for the last one
lifetime,
either.
in my lifetime of watching Italy, Italy has never been a great football team. They just sometimes play great in tournaments.
Mm,
Sometimes they have phases. They just play it. If it happens that tournament they're in phase, they play well, they win. Maybe and
yeah.
then other teams don't play as well because that's another factor. 2006 World Cup, I remember they weren't exceptional. It was
No,
just
they scrapped their way to
snapped
the
their way
final.
to the final, won the World Cup. 1994 World Cup, they were not good.
No,
They
no, they're
scrapped,
not good.
they just scrap, got to the final and then the Euros, they should have not been in that finals. I'm not saying they were not really that good. They were just in
Yeah,
the
they're decent.
tournament. In the tournament,
Yeah,
they
no,
were
they're not the best team. They were not the
yes,
best team, but they play better than they usually play.
yes, they
Then
played
I'll just
very well in the tournament. They played
yeah,
so but if you go back and look at qualifiers, look at the way they've been playing for the past, you wouldn't have expected them to do that. And I think it was just tournament mentality. They had tournament mentality. I think they're a team that have tournament mentality. Germany is another team that has that tournament
yeah,
mentality. But
yeah.
difference now is that Germany is playing well outside tournaments now. They're playing well in general, but Germany has tournament mentality.
Mm,
So I'll be honest, it's not that I'm not shocked that not Macedonia knocked them out because that is a shocker.
yeah, that's a shock.
It's just that I'm shocked that what's it called knocked them out. I'm not shocked that they got knocked out
Everybody was
because
thinking that it would be Portugal. Okay, they'll go and meet Portugal in the
Portugal can get
playoff
knocked out. Yeah,
final, and that Portugal will not knock them out. But nobody even thought that they won't even make it that far. They didn't even make it that far to meet Portugal.
it's
Yeah,
a
it's
shame.
crazy.
It's a shame. It's a shame. And I think
Yeah,
Mancini leaves. I think
yeah.
Mancini leaves.
maybe he might have credit in the bank. He might have credit in the bank because at least they still won the European Cup last 2 years ago. Oh,
That's
this
true.
year, last year, they won
Yeah,
the European Cup. They might let him stay on. Because not qualifying for the World Cup, like you said, it's not even new. I think in our lifetime, this is like the third or fourth time that's happened to
yeah,
Italy.
yeah.
They don't call. It's not like they qualify for every World Cup. It's nothing new. It's
Like I
nothing
said, they've not
new.
been very good. They've not been very good. Yes.
So it's not so shocking. So I think they might forgive him. They'll be like, okay, let's just prepare for the next Euros. So maybe that's what they will do. But the other teams, so it will be Portugal against North Macedonia in the final. I think Wales got through,
Yeah,
and
Wales got through.
I think they'll meet the winner of Scotland, Ukraine. But that match was not played yet. And who was the other one? I think Sweden. Sweden also got
Sweden,
through. Sweden,
Sweden is
yeah.
supposed to play Poland, if I'm correct.
Yeah, if Poland, well, yeah, they'll play Poland, yeah, because Poland got the walkover against Russia. So
Russia, which is now this is not supposed to have been reinstalled by the Court of Arbitration. I don't know. I don't.
yeah, I think that's still who knows that will be another big big
That's a
story.
different thing. There's also the same thing with the Ukraine game as well. Because
Yeah, but the Ukraine game it's moved to June.
yeah,
They moved it to June. Scotland, Ukraine are supposed to play tentatively in June, but who knows what will happen by that time now?
yeah,
Maybe June, the war will still be on, or who knows what will have happened by June.
uh,
So it's just tentative.
that's right.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Um, kudos and donkeys of the week. I I think this one might be unanimous today. I think this one might be unanimous today. I'll let you go first.
Okay. I don't know, but I have like two. I think two of each. I'll just quickly run through them. Kudos. I'll first of all go for North Macedonia. Um, that's a big result for a country that didn't even exist until when that country was not. I know, okay, there was a country called Macedonia, but I don't think not Northern Macedonia has been in existence for long. And beating Italy in Italy with the last minute goal, like I think that was just their second shot on target and eliminating Italy. Even if they don't go to the World Cup, for them that's enough. Like, oh, we knocked out Italy. And on a similar note, kudos for the top banter from the Switzerland fans who brought a banner to the stadium and they wrote Google Italy Qatar World Cup, and then they wrote underneath, "Did you mean Switzerland?" Oh, that's one of the best banter things I've seen in a long time. They brought a big banner to the stadium that way. Just, oh, wow, just like, yeah, top mark. That's quality banter. Donkey of the week. I just run through the two. The first one I'm angry with is the Premier League for blocking Burnley from bringing Victor Moses back to the Premier League. FIFA and UEFA gave special dispensation for players who are stuck in Russia because Russia they're not allowed to play any football basically. So they said, okay, you can sign players from that league, special dispensation. Burnley wanted to sign Victor Moses. Premier League said no. The council they said no. And you're wondering that, okay, what if it was not a Nigerian player? What if it was maybe an English player? Would they have done that? So for me, that was, and there are people already fighting for him. They're saying, look, on humanitarian grounds, why are you people saying no? They're saying, okay, sporting integrity. What's the sporting? How many games are left in the season? And this guy is stuck there in Russia, in Moscow, and the Premier
it's,
League have said no.
it's sporting integrity for all any league they are going to every whatever place they end up. There's sporting integrity issues.
Integrity.
Yeah.
And the funny thing, Zaza, is Spain are actually allowing it. La Liga have allowed it. I think a couple of clubs have, you're thinking that, okay, if Spain have the bad reputation for, okay, maybe being racist or whatever, are allowing that. And Premier League that is supposed to stand up for, oh, we're fighting for human rights and things. And you're blocking this guy from being signed. How many games are even left this season? 8 games, 9 games. So he might probably not even play all the games of Burnley. If Burnley signed him, he might not have played all the games. He might just be on the bench. And yeah, they said no. They said no. So that's really bad. Donkey of the week. The second donkey of the week, yeah, jeez. Second donkey of the week, I had that at the tip of my tongue there. Jeez. Okay, maybe you go. I remember the second one.
Okay.
I remember the second one. I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot it now. I got carried away.
Okay. I have two kudos as well. Since I was focused on female soccer this week, I want to give my kudos to Emma Hayes. She's yes highly praised, but I think she's also not praised enough.
Mm,
I think that's a woman who can manage
yeah,
a
I've
men's
said it
team.
there before too.
Yes,
Yeah.
she's good. She's pace setting. She's a trailblazer. She's almost everything you want in a coach, and so I have to give it to her. I have to give it to her. She's really, really been a top coach. Um, they won 9-0 today to get on top of
Wow.
the league.
Oh
Yes,
my goodness.
they won 9-0
Goodness. Nine
today.
zero.
That's right.
Chai. Who did they beat?
I can't remember because wait, give me one moment. I'll tell you.
Wow, that's a big score line.
Yeah,
Goodness.
they won 9-0 today. Is it okay?
I just quickly
Leicester
slipped this
City.
one in.
Leicester City.
Leicester City. Okay, Leicester
Yeah,
City. Okay.
they beat Leicester 9-0 today.
They spelled Leicester without though. I think they spelled it.
Totally, man. That's right. That's right.
Wow.
It's got 9. And so their goal difference, let me tell you what their goal difference is, by the way, so you can just for
Wow. 9-0.
their goal difference is 40 in 17 after 17 games.
Wow.
Score
They are really good.
47 goals.
They are really good. They are
They're
really good.
really
That
good.
Chelsea team,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah.
Chelsea team is really good.
Arsenal scored 45 goals in 17 games as well. We've had
Mm,
it's been a very wonderful one. And then, of
mm,
course, my main kudos goes to North Macedonia to get this far, to be one match away from the World Cup.
mhm.
North Macedonia, uh, come on, man. Remember that thing they said about North? I'm sure you heard that joke in Dublin or Ireland somewhere. When because Ireland used to play North Macedonia, and whenever I think they've drawn them once. Those teams from that have they say they lost to a team of plumbers
Mm.
and and bricklayers. That's what they usually used to say in English and
Mm.
Irish media about North
Mhm.
Macedonia, Georgia, because they had a lot of
Yeah,
part timers.
yeah, part timers. Yeah,
Yeah, most of those players are part timers. They're not professional footballers, and they beat Italy. They're not the Euro champions.
European
Oh,
champions. Yeah.
no, no, no! You have to. I give it to them. They give my kudos for this week. Top, top, top performance. My donkey of this week. Uh, I actually did not have a donkey. It wasn't anything too negative. I'll probably have to give it to Mancini and his team. Mancini, yeah, they take the donkey of this week. It
Okay.
shouldn't have been. They couldn't have had an easier matchup. They couldn't have had an easier matchup. Apart from Poland, that maybe got the walkover. They couldn't have had an easier matchup. So
Yeah.
it just shows
Yeah.
how unprepared and maybe they're still gloating. They still think they still thought they were in the Euros. Of course, they had a lot of ill luck in that game, but they
Yeah. There be
also
some
were
good
not
chances.
that good. They were
Mm.
not that good, but
Yeah.
yeah, because if you think about it, it wasn't like the keeper was making
World class saves.
world
No.
class saves
No.
and plucking it
No.
out from the corner. No, no,
No. No. No.
they
Some
were
bad finishing. Some really
bad,
bad finishing.
a lot of bad finishing. But some of those bad finishing were also because they really didn't have open chances. They had to snatch a lot of shots. They had to rush them.
Mm.
And then when they had chances, Macedonia players were heroic. They defended
Mm.
and blocked, put the body on the line, and yeah, they protected their
Yeah.
keeper. They protected their
Yeah.
keeper because he didn't. He really did not need to make. He made an error, if I remember. He dropped a ball, but he caught it. That was
Mm.
really it. He didn't. He had a very comfortable game. So yeah,
Yeah.
the Azuris take the cake for that one.
I remember my second donkey now. But I'll just sneak in just a quick shout out to Christian Eriksen first for not donkey or for
Mhm.
kudos. He scored with his first touch back for Denmark yesterday. I think he came on as a substitute
Ooh, that's
and he scored for
ooh.
Denmark. Yeah, like
Didn't even hear
kudos. Like
about that.
yeah. It's amazing. First match back after all the cardiac arrest
Ooh.
things and yeah, first touch within the first minute he scored. So that's big kudos. But my final donkey was there was the article. that was written about Gareth Bale, calling Gareth Bale a parasite. Yeah, there was one one Madrid newspaper yabbing Gareth Bale. It was very disrespectful. If you see all the words they wrote in that, very disrespectful. And you're thinking, well, this guy he wanted to leave. You guys are the ones that pulled the plug on his deal. He was going to leave in 2019 to go to China, and it was Madrid that pulled the plug on the last minute. Now you're blaming him for staying and taking the money. So, for football is a short career. I always say this. As a footballer, these clubs they only show you loyalty when the going is good. When the going is bad, they want to kick you out. They call you parasite. So I just felt, look, this is why I say as a player, when you have the chance to make that money, make that money, because these people are so disrespectful and ungrateful. This guy has scored in Champions League finals for them, a lot of goals, many important goals. But now because he's injured, and he's not playing regularly, now they are calling him parasite. They are abusing him. They're saying, oh, he's always playing for Wales. He's only playing for Wales. Yeah, you guys disrespected him. You didn't let him go when you promised him he could go. Then you now pull the plug.
And
So
then you
like that's
refuse
my
to
second.
play him constant. Like,
First to play him. Yeah. So the guy just said, okay, if you don't play me, I'll just sit on the bench and I'll be collecting my money.
yeah, what's he
Why?
supposed to do?
Exactly. Because you want him to give up on his money. When he was about to go, you said no. He put the cloth at the last minute. So that's my
Uh,
final
uh,
donkey of the week. Let the
yeah,
players make their money.
the thing about that thing is, I don't think younger fans newspapers always have agenda. They just
Yeah.
sell the right things to sell. That sometimes they sell to much older fans because, of course, probably the ones that still read want those kind of stories, and then they sell to
Mm.
younger fans and fans that are still very, the emotional thing. Because let's be very honest, we were born in the old age of Gascoigne, George Best,
Mm.
uh, the Yeti Messons, players that rode life and then all of a sudden were broke, were
Uh-huh.
very broke when they,
Mm-hmm.
passed on. They were,
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
you learn, if you don't learn from that, this
Yeah.
it's gonna be tough. These new
Brother,
players don't they don't
this
have time for
this
that.
person this person you just mentioned now,
Hmm.
before we round up, Gascoigne that I just mentioned,
Hmm.
I saw him yesterday. He was playing a Rangers Old Legends game. If you see how Haggard looking he is, he's been so broke. Gascoigne, okay, yeah, I know he has alcoholic issues, but I'm just backing up your
Hmm.
point of players who left the game and things have not been good for them. Things have not been good for them. There are players like that, so that's why I never blame a player. As long as you don't disrespect the club, if you are not striking or whatever, make your money when you can, because football is a short career. Somebody can get an injury today and his career is over at the age of 25, 20. Look at Ronaldo, the phenomenon. By the time he was before 30 years old, they have picked up two serious knee injuries. He was
It was gone.
already he
Yeah,
was gone. His career was basically gone
yeah,
by that time. Before age 30, he had two serious ACL
yeah.
injuries.
He was
Anything can
just lucky
happen
he
in
made
football.
money. He was lucky he
He
had
was lucky
already
he made
made a lot of
money.
money.
That's yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
that's
many
right.
of these players are living in pain. They have had operations.
Yes.
Please, so I'm always on the side of player power because I know this game is brutal. These clubs, only when the going is good, that's when they like you, when they have loyalty. Immediately you are past your best, they want to kick you out. And they'll just say, take a pay cut or go away. Yeah. So make your money
That's
when you
right.
can, man.
Make your
Make
money
your
when you
money when you
can.
can.
Yeah.
Exactly. All
And
right.
with that, we come to the end of the broadcast. Ola, it was
Thank
good to
you.
see you again.
Good to
Good
see
to
you,
have
brother.
you. Yeah, it's a wonderful hour we've had.
Yeah.
Um, we'll do this again at the end of the season. We'll come back and review the relegation, the top four, and then of course we'll dive deep into other topics. Liverpool, Manchester United, especially. At the end of the season, when there are no football games, we usually have a lot of time. So
Yes, exactly.
yeah, I'll see you then. And
No problem.
viewers, remember to follow. It's the Footy Fantasy. You can find it at any spot you find your podcasts. You can find it on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And that is D as in THE Footy Fantasy. One word, FOOTIEFANTASY. The Footy Fantasy. Now there's one difference on Twitter. It is Footy AD Fantasy. FOOTIEAD Fantasy. So you can always at us there. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, especially feedback. Like I said, we always want feedback. Let us know what we're doing well and what we're not doing well. I'll see you all next week. Have a good time.
See ya. Bye.